Good morning. It is 6 a.m. I'm Deirdre Fitzpatrick.
And I'm Teo Torres. So you may want to slow down on your drive into work because it's foggy out there.
It's been a while since we've had a morning like this, but we had the rain yesterday, even some snow in the Sierra. And now we are dealing with fog the day after, and it could be tough for drivers in some areas. Meteorologist Tamara Berg joining us now as we take a look at the forecast. And then you add in the time change, and everybody's a little off anyway.
Yeah, everything's a little off, especially this week. You know, it takes some time to get adjusted, doesn't it? And for folks that are heading out for the roadways, especially around Sacramento County, you're going to want to adjust to navigating through some of the fog right now. You'll notice that Sacramento County is really kind of the hub of where I'm seeing some of the sharper drop-offs in visibility. If you're joining us in San Joaquin County, Stanislaus County, fog not much of an issue. And even in through Solano County this morning, fog not an issue. It's not until you go west of town, traveling towards Sonoma, is when you start to get into some of that thicker rounds of fog. Right now in Marysville, fog actually getting a little better in terms of visibility at 5 miles. Lincoln not looking too bad at 5. We had some drops in visibility from Grass Valley off towards Auburn. But again, you're seeing that where most of the fog is limiting visibilities in Sacramento, out at the Pocket area, South Sacramento, Rancho Cordova, out into Wilton as well. Visibility can be at any times down to just below a quarter of a mile. And then again, looking at Stockton and Modesto, not too bad. You may see a few patches here and there, especially along some of the creeks and waterways as you go in to the foothills for the morning. The other notable difference from 24 hours ago and while you were sleeping is it's a much cooler start to your day. 28 in Lake Tahoe, 46 in Auburn, 45 in Yuba City, 48 right now in Fairfield. That is quite a notch down, anywhere from 10 to about 17 degrees cooler in the valley, running about 7 degrees down this morning in Placerville, 17 degrees down this morning in South Lake Tahoe. Coming up in the full forecast, I'll break down what's ahead for you as you plan out the rest of the work week. But right now, if you're planning to get out onto those roadways and into some of the fog, let's check in with Leticia, who joins us live from East Sacramento. And Leticia, it's some of these eastern suburbs that may see some of the bigger drop-offs in visibility.
Tamara, conditions keep changing out here. This is 65th near the 50 freeway, and earlier things were getting better, but now things are getting worse as far as the patches of fog are concerned. Visibility was down about a mile, and now it appears to be down to about a half mile. So the CHP is urging everyone to be careful. We haven't seen conditions like this in quite some time. In fact, last week the weather was really nice. So now we're dealing with this again. So you have to remember to use your low beam headlights. Watch out for those vehicles on the sides of the road, especially if you're driving on some of the main streets here, and use the roadway highway reflectors as your guide to get around. Another important tip from the Highway Patrol is to listen to traffic. If visibility is down really bad, you're going to want to lower that window to make sure that you can hear what is going on around you. And if you have to pull over at a safe location like at a gas station until some of this fog begins to lift. But things are looking bad this morning in some parts of our area. We are going to be moving to Rancho Cordova, where we understand that the fog is much thicker. But for now, let's check in with Brian Hickey, who's tracking the rest of our roadways. Brian.
Yeah, and Leticia, in that area at Sunrise and Folsom, just got reports of a crash there involving at least one person trapped in a vehicle. So I don't know if that's related to the fog or not, but certainly we are seeing that dense fog there. And this is a look at Interstate 80. This is at Watt Avenue, just past the split, and you can see some heavy traffic here. We've got a couple of vehicles on the right-hand shoulder that were involved in an earlier, fortunately, non-injury collision, but you can see it is slowing down that westbound side of Interstate 80 as you make your way just past the split. I'll show you here on the map where you can see that slowdown there. So if you're coming into the split, whether you're going down the Cap City Freeway or continuing across the top, you are going to run into a bit of a slowdown there, making your way into that area. So just watch out as the fog is developing. And then here's the crash I was telling you about along the 50 corridor there. This is not on the freeway. It's at Sunrise and Folsom, and they are currently working to extricate someone from a vehicle in that collision there. So we'll keep an eye on that one for you, but otherwise Highway 50 looking good, 5 and 99. No delays coming out of Elk Grove through the Pocket and Florida area. Also the Causeway looking good this morning. Stockton, incident free along Highway 4 and 5 and 99, all looking good there. And then as you make your way southbound I-5 right at Manthe Road, we've got a minor crash there causing a bit of a slowdown on that 205 ride. You can see here in Sacramento, 5 and 99 at the limit. Interstate 80 a little slow there, 13 minutes from Roseville to the split. Now in Elk Grove, some roads are just reopening after being closed for overnight work by PG&E. The utility company is in the process of doing a gas main repair there. This is in the area of Bond and Elk Grove Florin roads, where work will happen through the next week. You can expect those closures and detours in this area. It's overnight work happening from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. in the morning through next Tuesday. Back to you.
All right, thank you. Well, new numbers suggest a surge in catalytic converter thefts is finally on the decline.
But why, or whether it's a sign of slowing thefts, remains in question. KCRA 3's Mike DeSalle live in Sacramento to detail some of the data and the questions.
Yeah, this new data comes from State Farm Insurance, and it is based on claims for catalytic converter thefts that became rampant during and after the pandemic. But now State Farm says claims for cat thefts down significantly in the first half of this year versus the same time frame last year, down more than 8,000 year to year, which, if the trend holds, would be about a 34% drop this year versus last year. And one reason why? Maybe the plummeting prices for precious metals found in catalytic converters. One of those is rhodium. And, since its peak price in 2021 and 2022, the price for an ounce of rhodium has dropped from $30,000 an ounce down to just $5,000 an ounce. So a little less lucrative for thieves to target those catalytic converters. But some law enforcement leaders say this new data is a sign that crackdowns on thefts are working. After all, last month, 3 Sacramentans pleaded guilty to a coast-to-coast organized catalytic converter theft crime ring dealing with some $600 million in stolen converters. But in talking with some other local law officers, they're not convinced that thefts are dramatically down as much as the numbers may suggest, saying that this may just be a case of fewer people actually reporting those thefts to their insurance. As they say, the thefts are continuing. So the best advice, take precautions, get your VIN number etched on the catalytic converter, or even pay to have a shield put on to further protect your catalytic converter from being stolen. Live in Sacramento, Mike DeSalle, KCRA 3 News.
All right, Mike, thank you. Now, for perspective on this issue, California accounts for 37% of catalytic converter thefts nationwide.
Meanwhile, Sacramento police have arrested a man accused in a deadly assault. This was September 24th. Police say a 66-year-old Jimmy Lee was assaulted near Franklin Boulevard at Sutterville Road. He was taken to the hospital but did die of his injuries about a month later. Police identified a suspect as 28-year-old Gerquan Clark. He was arrested last night on homicide charges. Now, police in Winters say they've arrested a 70-year-old man on child porn charges. Officers served a search warrant on a home at Baker Street and First Street after getting information from the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. They said, samples of child porn as well as illegal sawed-off shotgun pieces. Steve Earl Jones is now facing a number of charges.
We're learning more about a chase that ended with law enforcement officers shooting and killing a man, leading to an hours-long backup on Interstate 80. Sacramento Sheriff's Office says a CHP officer tried to pull over a car near I-80 and Norwood Avenue. Deputies say the driver didn't stop. He has now been identified as 36-year-old Zachary Wolfscott. A sheriff's deputy and another CHP officer joined in the chase. Authorities say Wolfscott's car crashed into a motorcyclist near Greenback. A motorcyclist suffered major injuries but is expected to survive. Deputies say Wolfscott got out of his car armed with a knife. The 2 CHP officers and the deputy all fired. He died at the hospital. Officers were not hurt. The shooting is under investigation. New details now about a wild pursuit last week in Stanislaus County. Deputies tried to pull over the driver for reckless driving last Monday near Chicago Avenue and Vernon Avenue in Modesto. That driver, later identified as Sergio Lopez, then sped off, jumping on 99 and driving at speeds over 100 miles per hour. Lopez tried to take the West Monte Vista Avenue exit in Turlock when deputies say he lost control. And here's a look at what happened next. Deputies say Lopez rolled down an embankment, smashing that truck. He survived with just minor injuries, and he's now facing a number of charges.
Today marks 1 month since Hamas fighters invaded Israel, leaving more than 1,400 people dead and taking more than 200 people hostage. People gathered in Tel Aviv overnight remembering those victims. Palestinian officials say that Gaza's death toll under Israeli bombardment exceeds 10,000 people, and there's been growing international calls for a ceasefire or humanitarian pauses to get aid into Gaza. Both have been rejected by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu until Hamas releases hostages. Richard Engel is covering the very latest developments for the Today Show.
Israeli troops have encircled Gaza City, and now Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu is suggesting that Israel may have to occupy the Gaza Strip for an indeterminate period of time until a replacement for Hamas can be found, saying that leaving Hamas in power in Gaza is not an option because the group could just organize more terrorist attacks like it did 1 month ago. But is Israel now entering what could be a long guerrilla war with an insurgency like the United States found itself in Iraq? I'll have a full story coming up on the Today Show.
And police in Southern California are investigating the death of a Jewish man who they say was injured at a demonstration over the weekend. A vigil was held yesterday for 69-year-old Paul Kessler in L.A. Witnesses say that he was taking part in a rally in support of Israel on Sunday and that he got into a physical fight with a counter-protester, fell and hit his head. He died a day later. Both Jewish and Muslim leaders have expressed grief over his death, and they are calling for peace. They're asking people not to jump to conclusions until the law enforcement can investigate. Well, last night, former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger received the Award of Courage at the Holocaust Museum's LA annual gala. Schwarzenegger is an Austrian native whose father was a Nazi soldier in World War II. He's been a vocal opponent of anti-Semitism and hate speech and has highlighted the importance of education as a way to counter prejudice.
Well, tomorrow marks 5 years since the state's deadliest wildfire destroyed much of the town of Paradise. Last night, hundreds of residents attended a concert to celebrate their resilience. A fire killed 85 people, destroying nearly 19,000 homes and businesses. Now, the comeback has been slow, but it has been steady. Officials say 21% of the homes that were lost have been rebuilt. About 1,000 are currently under construction. And that's that progress the town leaders really want to focus on this week.
This is a really big milestone in our recovery. We're really proud of how far we've come, but we also recognize that it's not been an easy road. There are still struggles, but we're really excited about the future that we envision.
There are several commemorative events planned for this week, including for today, which marks exactly 5 years since the campfire started, hours before tearing through the town.